Hare Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashyate Desatari Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Kam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarine Hare Krishna. So today we'll see verse number 27 of chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. So we are trying to, the purpose is that we are trying to connect with Krishna with the help of his Vibhutis. So in this chapter, after explaining the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says like it's very difficult to understand him and understand and know him, and by through bhakti only you can know him. And then Arjuna asked this question, how a general person can remember you, how they can connect with you. So then Krishna starts explaining about his different vibhutis through which we can remember Krishna. So Krishna is explaining in this verse the four vibhutis. So let us see those. Uchchashravasam ashvanam
Uchchaishravasam ashvanam
Imam Amrutodbhavam
Viddhi mam amruto vavam
Airavatam Gajendranam
Eravatam gajendranam
Naradhipam
Naranam cha naradhipam
Chaishravasam Ashwana
Uchchaishravasam ashvanam
Viddhimam Amrutodbhavam
Viddhi mam amruto vavam
Airavatam Gajendranam
Airavatam gajendranam
Naranam cha Naradhipam.
Naranam cha naradhipam
Please chant.
Uchchaishravasam ashvanam Vidhi mam amruto vavam Eravatam gajendranam Naranam cha naradhipam.
Anyone else? Okay, so translation and purport. All the horses know me to be Uchchaishrava, produced during the churning of the ocean. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavat, and among the men, I am monarch. Purport. The devotee demigods and the demon Asuras once took part in churning of ocean. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiva drank the poison. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Uchchaishrava. Another animal produced from this nectar was elephant named Airavat. Because the two animals were produced from nectar, they were special significance and are representatives of Krishna. Among the human beings, the king is the representative of Krishna because king is the maintainer of universe, and the kings who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications are maintainers of their kingdom. Kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Parikshit, Lord Ram were all highly righteous kings who always thought of the citizens' welfare. In Vedic literature, the king is considered to be representative of God. In this age, however, when the corruption and principles of religion, monarchy decayed and now finally abolished, it is to be understood that in past, however, people were more happy under righteous kings. So Krishna explaining about his vibhutis, and see, we can see here Krishna is giving example of Uchchaishrava, the horse, and Gajendra, the elephant. So, like we discussed before, Krishna vibhutis are unlimited and in all the species. So it's not that only like he present in the celestial beings only, but in the or the human beings, but also in the animals. So In the animals also, there are vibhutis or their specialities by which we feel very surprised or we feel very astonished. Right? So the horse as an animal also is very attractive. Right? Um, in Japan also there are many horse races, right? So on which lot of people put a lot of money in that to maintain one horse. And in the races also we see there is a lot of money being put. So horse also many people like horse riding, so they spend a lot of money to maintain horse also is very difficult. But people, because they are attracted to the horse as animal, they maintain this and they are interested in this. So in the horses, the best one is the Uchchaishrava, which was so during the churning after the poison, all the different opulent things were produced. Right. So out of that, this Airavat and Gajendra, Airavat, the elephant, and Uchchaishrava, the horses, were also produced, and demigods took them with them and maintained them. So, Uchchaishrava is the most beautiful horse. I remember I read somewhere a very little description that it's white and its tail has some brown or black color. It's very attractive. Its only look also attracts everyone. And because it's produced from the nectar, of course, its speed and its structure, everything is very high, which is not possible for the normal horses. So that is representation. This opulence is representation of Krishna. Then Gajendra is the elephant, generally called for elephant, and Airavat is the best of the elephants, and Airavat is the carrier of Indra, the king of the heaven. And it can travel. Its speed and its power and its uh, existence is very huge. And whenever Indra has fight with the demons or war anywhere, then Indra travels on Airavat. And its only existence or entrance in the war also is uh, very fearful for the enemies. So that existence of Airavat and its power is opulence of Krishna. So elephant as an animal, we also see, if we see elephant, it's a huge size, and we cannot imagine, right? It only eats grass, but still its size is so huge, and the power of elephant is very huge power, right? So that for a normal elephant also is surprising for us how this animal can exist like this, right? So out of that, Gajendra is the best one. Naranam cha Naradipati. So the king who maintains all the living beings who maintains the kingdom is the representation of Krishna, because the king has special powers above the normal human beings or anybody. They can define the rules, they can maintain, and they can destroy anything they can do in their kingdom. So they are the most powerful living being in their kingdom. So previously in the old time, there were kings of the world, not king of one city or something. So they used to rule all the world. Mm. And the kings, of course, they can use or they can misuse their power. So all these vibhutis, if they are used in service or in the service of the Lord, then they are useful for us to remember Krishna. So if the kings, they misuse their power, then they can be very destructive. So in that case, they will not attract us to Krishna, but they will attract us to the demonic nature. There were so many kings who were very cruel, and they just killed and they didn't care for anybody, and they just wanted power and money. So they just destroyed everyone. So those kings were not righteous kings. Right? They were demonic kings with their own agenda. So those kings actually the people were fearful of those kings, and they never were welcomed anywhere. So if that those kings were coming to any place, everybody will run away from that place. So that opulence where it is misused is not Krishna, but a righteous king who is helpful for all the living being, who takes the duty of the king is to elevate himself and also his all the kingdom, elevate their consciousness and connect their consciousness to Krishna or to the supreme truth. That is the duty of the king. So if king does that duty, then his opulence is very useful, and that is the representation of Krishna. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Lord Ram, their whole aim was to educate the people in general in their kingdom, including animals, to connect with the supreme truth. And they never said that I am the supreme truth. But Hiranyakashipu and all, they used to say that forget Vishnu, worship me. So when they were the kings or Ravan, they used to ask people to worship him. So that is actually taking position of Krishna. So if you use opulence of Krishna to take his position, then that opulence becomes a problem. So that does not represent Krishna because it will not connect you to the Supreme Lord. It will take you away from the Supreme Lord. So that opulence is not a representation of Krishna. But when a righteous king connects everybody to supreme truth, then that is the correct way of being the king. And that is the opulence is representation of Krishna. So Krishna will continue explaining his opulences in different forms of living beings. And we'll see those in the next verses. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So any comments? Okay, thank you very much. So we'll continue this Vibhuti Yoga tomorrow also. Hare Krishna.